Welcome back. My name is Robin Pullen. I'm with the Silver Lining Project, and we're celebrating Women's Month this August. And I have with me another opportunity to interview an amazing woman. Before I introduce her, we're recognizing women in industry, either as a speaker, a coach, a trainer, or people in our community that are established in business, particularly ladies who we recognize are a shining light and leading example for a woman that has made the choices to empower herself and is standing her ground and making a space for herself. And one such woman, a friend of the project, is Cheryl Reum, and she is a serial entrepreneur and a property specialist. And I just want to say, Cheryl, thank you so much for your time to join us this evening.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to voice sentiments and information, and hopefully a few little nuggets of words.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to find some nuggets. You're a dear friend to myself and Neil and Tamar, the Silver Lining Project, and whenever we're with you, we're inspired by your energy, but also not just your story, just your character. And when you meet somebody in real life and you encounter their energy, what you don't encounter is some of the decisions that have made that story. So we're excited about celebrating Women's Month, but being able to celebrate it with a story like yours. So, and also just a real joy to have a friend of the project down in Cape Town, South Africa. What a beautiful city.
Isn't it just?
Cheryl, the first question I wanted to ask is, as a woman in the arena of business, what has been the biggest challenge that you have had to overcome as you establish yourself in business?
I've been in business for a good many years, from the age of just under 16, in fact. The challenges I had to do were self-challenges primarily, in that I didn't actually know who I was. And it was trial and error in quite a few of the different employment arenas I embraced first or been employed, until I discovered that sales was definitely a forte that was definitely strong, and I could really excel in that arena. So it was a trial and error. The few opportunities I did have that were administratively bound were not very successful. And then as soon as I moved into, as I say, sales orientation, then I just absolutely flew. So that wasn't a challenge any longer. But what was, again, in the same arena, I did realize that I needed systems and I needed a company that was strong and extremely well run and managed for me to come forward and be a participant within it to actually be able to shine my own light and to achieve.
Oh, super. So one thing that encourages me, what I heard you say, Cheryl, is that you don't need to know up front your final destination. So as a young lady, a woman who's embarking in the idea of starting her own business or establishing herself in business, the business itself is not so much the big deal, but rather the personal work and the personal journey as you discover yourself in business.
Without any doubt, it does begin there. And I must say that having said that, I believe that actual journey only took place at a much later stage in my life, actually in the last 8 years, that really self-discovery, knowledge, ability to perceive exactly who I am as an individual has come to the fore. But before that, on a work issue, I just knew that really when I was in an arena where I was interacting with people and I was being participant in assisting them, that is where I found my most diffusive energy coming to the fore. One of the main challenges I think I can just revert back to and say that I did perceive was always being in a position of wanting to rescue others, and sometimes in business that is not actually the way to go.
That's so true. A difficult lesson for us to learn. What I do know, Cheryl, is that we know you in person, and we are always touched by your energy, just your generosity of energy. How have you kept your dream alive? So some people start out in business and they have a dream to build a business or a product or something, and perhaps your journey has been a little bit different, that you haven't been pursuing one particular brand or one particular space in the arena of business. But how have you kept your dream alive to keep pulling yourself forward and keep doing the personal work that you know that you need to do?
I'm a very driven personality. I have had three major arenas of career. One has been, interestingly, in the literary field, with books. And in actual fact, I actually was employed by the CNA then and ordered books from all around the world. So instead of just being in a position where I was working in a company selling books, I became a specialist and was very well known for my service and my knowledge and my ability to order books from all around the world. We still used telexes in those days, and special interest arenas. And for the schools, I would actually choose all the book prizes. For the book clubs, I read, and the upside of this has been a fantastic vocabulary and a knowledge of literary works and books and reading and words that is a wonderful storehouse. Then secondly, it was beauty. Cosmetics, Justine, I got to number 3 in the country. That was a lesson because being very ego-driven at that stage, I did as much as my team of 52 women, and very much in the case then it was still all about me. So one learns as one goes along that you can't actually do it without the team. The third was property, and that has also been an exceptionally lucrative and a journey of learning and achieving that has spanned now 3 decades.
That's incredible. So one recurring story I'm hearing, Cheryl, the one is that you've discovered and understand the value of team. The other thing I heard you describe is that you've become a specialist in, even through changes in your careers or career changes, when you find yourself in a new arena, somehow you know what you need to do to become a specialist in that area, and that unlocks an opportunity.
It's an internal mindset, I would almost say, that if you, to quote a very cliched statement, to say you've got to go and fly with the eagles. It's no good sitting down there at the bottom with the dussies. And I think that's a mindset, to always want to be out there, out in front, being the leader, being participant. It comes also from a rebellion and I think a self-worth issue. To prove over and over again that you are worthy, that you can do, that you are the best. And it's a very positive thing when energetically directed in a positive manner.
I so agree with what I'm hearing you say. To fly with eagles means you need to choose to not settle to be a turkey. In the context of Women's Month, we hear so many stories of women who unintentionally buy into the idea that they are less, that they are little, that they cannot soar with eagles. Look, standing your ground as a woman in the world of work is tough. Has it been worth it for you?
It has definitely been worth it. I have had the privilege of being able to financially care for my family, for my extended family, my mum, who was widowed at the age of 50 odd, and had no means whatsoever to live on. So I was able to be the participant for her in a financial manner. My grandmother, my aunt, took on looking after the matriarchs in the family, which was actually I was able to do very, very well. I must say, my mum was my partner, and initially in the business, and she was very participant, and she did more the at-home role when I went out and hunted. So we had almost like a yin-yang scenario there, and I was portraying and doing more the male part by going out and hunting while she kept the home fires burning. And I do believe I have a fairly strong male persona that I do portray in business. And so it hasn't really been that difficult for me to actually go and do that, notwithstanding that I'm very sensual and succulent and extremely feminine. So it's been a good combination. It has been worth it totally. My only daughter is an educated young woman, but more than anything else, I'm giving her material things. I've been able to instill in her very, very well, with the help of my late husband, the knowledge that she can go out and do anything that she wants to do and be anybody she wants to be.
Oh, what a great way to end that and set up my next question. I'm sure there's a young woman who's listening, aspiring business leader, aspiring professional speaker, aspiring property specialist. What one nugget would you share with a young lady, a young woman, if someone were to ask you for face-to-face, one-on-one mentoring?
Well, I do actually do quite a lot of counselling and upliftment along my journey of life. And my one nugget, my one thing that I wouldn't tell them one thing. I'm normally much more verbose in one thing. But to believe in yourself is absolutely everything, first and foremost. And if you don't believe in yourself, you need to get a coach and you need to get somebody to support you. In the old days, it was more about a village situation that you'd go to the auntie or the grandmother or somebody along the way. But with our nuclear families today and families being so disbanded, it's become an essential almost to find yourself somebody who is a coach who is actually there for your upliftment. And there's a very interesting part here, because although people do coach you, your friends, your family, people around you, etc., unless you're actually paying for something, the value is not as strong as being actually able to say, listen, I'm actually engaging you in something here that you're needing to give me honesty and you're needing to give me something that's going to help me grow, not what I want to hear just to make me feel better. So that is what I'd say. Believe in yourself and get a coach.
Cheryl, you, as a friend of the project, we've seen you start to make strides towards this stage. We've seen you, you've partnered with us in some aspects, and we've seen you become more comfortable and getting ready to share your message with the world. So I'd like to ask, what is your greatest lesson so far as you've made the decision to get in front of people and speak publicly and get onto stage? What's been the greatest lesson in becoming a public speaker?
The greatest lesson that I've actually learned is that the media is very unforgiving and they're looking for sensation. So if you are going to put yourself out there, you must develop an armor, which is not going to actually disarm you, but something that can be protective of your innermost feelings, that if you're going to be out there, be transparent, be vulnerable, don't have anything that is not going to be able to be approached, because the insensitivity of the media is profound. And this is something that could take somebody down. So that's a very, very big lesson I think I did learn along the way. The other is that failing forward is the only way to move forward in your life. And also, when you are out there and you are expounding and you are presenting yourself, be authentic. Don't have a double agenda. Live your life. Don't do one thing and be one thing and be inconsistent. Congruent with your purposes of great value and absolutely essential.
Fabulous words of wisdom. Thank you, Cheryl. One sneak question. So you decided to become a public speaker and you made the courage to take some steps. What happened next?
What happens next is social media representation. I am in a small idiom branding. I am in a coaching program and have been actually my first coach I had about 6 years ago. For 2 years I outgrew that particular coach, and that is something also that one actually does do. So be aware of that. My next step is to actually perform a due diligence on what exactly it is that I'm actually trying to put forward there. Because what's in it for them is really what you're looking for your audience. Solution you find for problems. This is what people want. They're not interested in you. Your story is part of it, most definitely, but it's not a defining part of it. So you actually have to have a product that is required in the marketplace. And when you have that, then the world of digital, definitely going that arena, webinars, digital, video, online, international, it's a way to go forward. I was just thinking a little bit earlier, for an income of approximately $100,000 a month, which is not out of reach, it's about $10,000. So international, particularly in South Africa, is a momentum to find to actually be able to sustain a speaking career and to make it worthwhile.
Fabulous. I must support and agree with everything I've heard you describe there. And from the Silver Lining Project's side, we look forward to seeing you take strides to carving a space out on stage for you and your message and your brand.
Wonderful. Silver Lining to me is very dear to my heart. It's in a youngish stage of origin now, but then the world also began with a big bang. And I'm very much a supporter of initiatives where there is integrity and honesty behind it, and when the motivation of something is so strong for the benefit of others, and it's not a monetary desire for self-enhancement or self-gratification of the originator. So that's a very, very strong part of who I am. I like startups. I like people at the beginning. It's really, I wish you all the success in the world, and I'm so proud to be a part of it in as many ways as I have been, and also for the wonderful friendship that I have with all the developers.
Oh, kind words. Thank you so very much. What a wonderful way to end a conversation celebrating Women's Month, but in particular celebrating the journey and the success of women, not only in our community, but in our industry. So our heartfelt thanks to you, Cheryl, for sharing your time with us this evening.
It has been my great pleasure, and as I say, do not go into retirement, because it's not a case of retire, it's rather a case of retread. And that will be understood with the South African idiom of tires.
Fabulous, thank you. My name is Robin Pullen, co-founder of the Silver Lining Project. We've been chatting about women in business and celebrating Women's Month. On the line with me, Cheryl Reum. She is a serial entrepreneur and a property specialist. Thank you so much for listening, and chat again soon.